Hello guys, welcome back. So I hope you have watched the previous video, and if you haven't watched it then please go and watch it, because in the previous video I have explained like how the pop method works in terms of linked list. In this lecture we are just going to implement it. Okay, so let's start with the edge case first. Okay, so here as you can see it's written like if there is no head then we simply have to return. If there is no head, that means there is no node in the linked list, right? So what we have to do, we simply have to use this dot. Okay, so since the head will be null in case of linked list, if there is no head, then we simply have to return undefined. Okay, so this was the first step. Now what we have to do, we have to pick the current node. Let cur node. Okay, so in this one what we will do, we'll start from the beginning, this dot head. Okay, in case if we have the head, if there is no head, then this case will handle that thing and it will return undefined. That's fine. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to simply pick the tail. Okay, so let's say tail, new tail. Okay, so here what we are going to do, for now we are going to store the current node because we don't know like how many nodes we have. So initially we'll start with the first node, so that one we are going to store as the current node, like head and the tail both, right? And then we are going to loop through the node list basically to find out the last second node. Okay, so now let's quickly write the logic to find the last second node so that we can detach the last node from that. Okay, so for that what we have to do, we simply have to traverse the node list. And how we can traverse it, here I'm using while loop. So if there is current, or it's current node, right, current node dot next, that means if the current node have next node. Okay, so as soon as there is the next node in the current node, we are going to loop through that particular node list, right? Otherwise what we will do, it will not simply go inside this loop. Okay, so new tail equals to current node. Okay, so in the new tail we are going to simply save the current node. Okay, and then what we have to do, current node we are going to update as current node dot next. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are simply storing the current new tail as the current node, and then we are again changing the current node as the current node's next node, right? So let's say we have three nodes. So first node we are by default storing as a new tail, current node will be new that first node. If we are getting the second node, right, if the current node have the next value, right, so what will happen, it will go again inside the this while loop, and then that second node we are updating as the current node. Okay, and then we are again it will go inside the while loop, and then we are updating the new tail, and then we are updating the current node, right? So this is how it is going to work, this is how it is going to like traverse through the node list. Okay, now see, after looping through this array, we are going to get the next node, like the last second node, right? As soon as we have the current node dot next value, we are going inside this loop, right? So that means we can set this dot tail equals to whatever node we are getting from here, right? So this is going to be the new tail, right? This is going to be the last second node, because after updating the storing the current node here, we are updating the current node dot next value in the current node, right? So this is going to be the last second node, and this is going to be the last node, right? Okay, so here we have stored the last second node as a tail. Okay, so earlier we had last node as a tail, now we have last second node as a tail. Okay, so all we need to do is we simply have to detach the last node from the last second node. So for that we simply have to do tail dot next equals to null. So we simply detach the reference of the last node from the last second node by just storing next as null. Okay, so now this node doesn't know what is the last node. Okay, because we are making this node itself as a last node. Okay, now all there is left to do is to decrease the this dot length by 1, because whenever you are popping a node from the node list, you have to decrease the length, right? Then only you are going to get the accurate length. Okay, so this is about like detaching the last node and making the last second node as the last node. Okay, so let me just cut it and let me just paste it here. Okay, so far we have wrote this, right? Now all there is left is to handle the edge case. Okay, so before that, let me quickly return the tail and let me show you how it's working. Okay, so new SLL, right? So here let's quickly um, push some elements to it. New SLL dot push. What we type? Let's type hi, and then again let's push hi 2. Okay, let's push hi 3. Let's push hi 4. Okay, so now let me quickly stretch it a little bit. Okay, just give me a second, guys. I'm not able to stretch it. I don't know why. Okay, so I hope you guys can see it's zoomed enough. So right now the singly linked list value is like the head have high and then its tail is hi 4, right? So head is this high and then the tail is hi 4. Okay, if you expand head, you will get the next node as hi 2, and then again the next node as hi 3, again the next node as hi 4. Okay, so this is how it is going to work, right? So now let's pop the elements from the this linked list, right? Let's use pop. It's SLL. Oh, it's new SSL. New SLL. Sorry. Okay. New SLL dot pop. Okay, and tail is not defined. Okay, I think I have made a mistake here somewhere. Okay, so it's not tail, it's this dot tail. Okay, so again let's quickly try it. Let me clear it. So as soon as I'm hitting pop, I'm getting the popped element which got popped from the node. Okay, so right now it is giving me the last second element. Okay, now if we check new SLL, so how many elements we have? The length is 3. Okay, so the head is high, and then the next node is hi 2, the next node is hi 3, and then the next is null. That means the fourth element is completely detached from the node list. Okay, so yeah, instead of I think instead of returning this dot tail, we should return the current node. Okay, then only we will get to know whether which element got removed from the array, right? Okay, so you can do it obviously for sure, because you have to practice it. Okay, I've just shown you an example like how this basically works, right? Now let's talk about the edge case which we have to handle here. Okay, so edge case is if there is no node left after popping the elements, after popping the nodes. Okay, so what should happen? We have to set head and tail as null, and if we don't set, then what will happen? Let me show you. Okay, right now still we have 3 nodes, right? Okay, let me just clear it. Let me just pop it again. Dot pop. Okay, I have popped it. We are getting the last node as hi 2. Okay, again I'll pop it. Last node is high. Again I'll pop it. Last node is high, and I'm keep on popping it. Last node is high. See, right? Because next value is null, but the value is high. It's not removing the first, or we can say if we have just one node from the in the node list, it is not removing that. Okay, so for that case only, I told you to like we have to handle that edge case. Okay, and how we can handle that is it's simple only, right? If this dot length equals to 0, okay, then this dot head equals to null, and then same we have to do, this dot tail equals to null. Okay, and that's it. And here instead of like returning the tail, let's return the current node. Okay, because it is returning the last second element, or we can say the new tail, and that's not correct, right? uh, yeah. So now let's quickly see it once more. So right now the singly linked list we have length is 4, the head is high, next value is high 2. Okay, the next node of high 2 is high 3. Okay, next node of high 3 is high 4, and then next node of high 4 is null. Okay, so if you want you can take a screenshot of it for better understanding. Now let's try to pop it off. Okay, after popping it off we got the popped off node which is high 4. Okay, and then new SLL, if we see, sorry, okay, so the length is 3, and then if you expand it, as you can see, we are getting high 2 high 3. Okay, so now let's quickly pop it again. Okay, so now high 3 is popped off, high 2 is popped off. Okay, high cannot set properties of undefined reading tail. Okay, so there is a little mistake I have done. I don't know why I'm unable to see these things. It's a silly mistake. Okay, so this time let's quickly, to make it fast forward, let's quickly start with two nodes, right? Yeah, so now let's quickly do pop. High 2 is popped off. Okay, and before popping off, now let's make sure we have just one node here. Okay, so if you expand it, we have head is high, and then the next value of high is null. That means there is just one node, right? Now if we pop from this node list, then let's see what happens. High is popped off now. If you try to pop off, we are going to get undefined every time, because this case is being handled from the very first line which we have written for this code. If there is no head, then return undefined, right? Now if you check the new SSL, as you can see, head is null, tail is null, and the length is 0. So now our pop method is working fine, and that is the reason why I have splitted this pop method in two videos, like where I've told you like how it works, and then the actual practice section, because this was not as straightforward as the push method which we have implemented. Okay, so if you guys want, you can take a screenshot of it, or I think, let me just quickly zoom out a little bit, so you can take a screenshot of it and you can pause the video and you can write it on your own. Okay, because I want you to practice on your own, then only you will understand like how it is working internally, right? Yeah, so I hope I made my point clear, like how pop method works, okay, in this singly linked list. So this is it for today's video. See you in the next one.